here we are at a pioneer cemetery in Mountain Range. I'm Wally Motloch, and I'll tell you about this cemetery and some of the stories associated with it. Half of the people buried here were buried while the community was called El Dorado, and the other half was buried while this community now is called Mountain Range. So in truth, this should be called the El Dorado Mountain Range Cemetery. Okay, we are at the cemetery because there are a number of people buried here with remarkable stories. One of these is Hiram Hatch. Jerry Howard, who lived here, used to tell this story during the Mountain Range History Days, and I'd like to retell it to you. Mr. Hiram Hatch was a gentleman that in the early days of gold rush walked from the state of Maine to Mountain Range and started mining gold at an area that we call Chi-Chi Flat. Chi-Chi Flat is about 3 miles west-northwest along the Whiskey Slide Road from Mountain Range. He decided early that mining wasn't his forte, and he then decided to farm. And after a year or so of farming, he thought that the land resembled his farm in the state of Maine and decided to go back and get his family and settle in California. Well, he was no ordinary person because he walked to California from Maine for the gold rush. Once he decided to bring his family, he walked again across the continent to Maine to sell his farm, get his wife and 2 children, and come to and bring him to California. So they walked from Maine to Boston. He put his wife, 2 children, and luggage on the boat, and they realized they didn't have enough money for a ticket for him, so he walked back to Mountain Range. When he got here, he was checking the newspapers to see that the boat with his family is coming to San Francisco, and when he read that such a boat was arriving, he took a donkey and walked to San Francisco to meet them. The donkey would then bring the luggage, and they walked to Mountain Range. It's an incredible story of a person in his 40s or 50s years of his life was able to transverse this continent 3 times. Here we are at a tombstone belonging to Joanna Rodosino. She was killed in a stagecoach robbery in 1892, halfway between San Andreas and Mountain Range. She comes from a remarkable family. Her father, Martin Rodosino, was a person educated in Paris, France during the French Revolution days, and he knew Napoleon Bonaparte personally. As a matter of fact, there are a number of mentions where he and Napoleon corresponded together. Joanna Rodosino, at the age of almost 15 years of age, that's the time that she died during the stagecoach robbery. Halfway between Mountain Range and San Andreas, there is a monument that you can see that locates puts the location of the robbery. This is a tombstone of George Johnson. Phil Alberts tells a story in his book of a remarkable event where Mr. Johnson was a security guard at Mission San Jose in the Bay Area, and 2 men, 2 years before the California Gold Rush of 1849, that means this would be year 1847, arrived at the mission with bags of gold nuggets. And Mr. Johnson got them to draw a map of where they found this gold. And when one follows the rivers and the various mountains from Bay Area, you will find that this map would have taken you to Chi Chi Flat area, which is northwest of here about 3 miles. So it's possible that gold was found in California not in 1849 but in 1847 already. There were a number of people living in this area that have seen this map, although today we cannot locate it. So here we are at the El Dorado Mountain Range Cemetery. We have seen 3 tombstones. They're not just markers where these people were buried, but they're reminders to us of the remarkable journeys that these people took to get here and to help us build a society that we have today. It's always interesting to me to visit and rethink a lot of the history that went on before us.